When you land that interview, I mean, it's Obama. Like, who gets the president to sit down on a podcast? You've got to walk me through how did that happen? What's your reaction when you're sitting down on a podcast opposite the president of the United
In
States?
my own house.
In your
In
own
my
house.
garage.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't never sought out to interview the president. I'm not that delusional. But they started reaching out at some point. About a year before the actual interview.
Wait, they reached out to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, someone on the staff was a fan of the show and thought it would be an interesting thing for him to do, which makes sense. It's got a certain audience. It's different for a president to do that. And so I had some fans on the staff, and they'd reached out and said, we think it'd be interesting to have him do it. And my producer, my business partner, Brendan McDonald, was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, yeah, right, that's going to happen. Yeah, sure, tell him yes. What are we going to say? No, I don't think so. And we just thought it was sort of like this weird thing that wasn't going to happen. Then they kept in touch over the year, and then it started to look like it was going to happen. So I was like, where are we going to do it? Do I go to the White House? Do I meet him in a hotel? He's like, no, he wants to come to the garage. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. And then, it was like, it's happening. So a lot of things have to happen. Secret Service has to come over, check shit out.
That's awesome, dude.
I was on vacation the week before in Hawaii reading his first book to get in touch with who he really was as a person, because that's who I wanted to talk to, and had asked my neighbor if we could put snipers on his roof, and he was excited. He's retired, And so the day of, there was about 15 Secret Service people briefing in my living room. I have a 2-bedroom house. It's nothing. It's a little house. And there's about a dozen LAPD, and they tented the driveway and made it a carport and emptied the neighborhood of cars. And he flew in from Santa Monica to the Rose Bowl, which is about 5 minutes from me. It's funny because I was on the back deck with Secret Service, and they're like, we'll let you know when he's 20 minutes out. And we saw the presidential helicopter. And I'm like,
so
I think
cool,
he's
dude.
close. I think he's right here. And then they landed at the Rose Bowl and met the motorcade there, and he came over and we got right to it. But it's funny because it was, these Secret Service guys, they do this stuff all the time. And I thought my house would be difficult because I live, kind of on a hill in this isolated neighborhood a little bit. And they're like, no, this is easy. It's not as hard as Tyler Perry's house. He has an estate. There's 1 million rooms. This was a cakewalk. No problem.
What was he like in real life? Was he different, similar? From what you expected?
No, I didn't really know, I didn't know what to expect. You don't look at him the same as you look at a lot of presidents. He seems to be more thoughtful and human and earnest, and you don't know. I didn't know what to expect, and when he came up, I didn't see him because it was so hard. I was standing in front of the garage where I was instructed by the Secret Service. He was coming up the driveway with a bunch of staffers and everything, like all these people coming out of the motorcade up my driveway, and I'm like, where is he? And then I see a hand go up, Mark! And I'm like, oh, my God, it's the president, Mr. President, in my driveway. How are you? And he's just like, we're going to have a good time, right? And I'm like, we'll see. I hope so, but he was very, disarming, and it made me feel very comfortable very quickly. And I think it's just something he's naturally does. He's a very grounded, very human guy.